Welcome back into the garden. Today, I would like to talk about what it would take for somebody looking to get into gardening, time-wise, and what they should expect. So, yeah, it's nice and pretty to look at all the big plants and think, oh, wouldn't that be cool? But behind the scenes, what does it actually take to get into gardening? So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, so first thing is, how much time do you have? And what kind of time are you expecting to devote to your new gardening hobby? So as you can see, mine's pretty small garden. I have four raised beds, and I also have a green stalk, which I grow in the green stalk. Currently, I have potatoes growing in the green stalk. And but how long does all that take? So if you don't know and you're unsure about, how much time you're expecting to spend out there, think of it like this. What I do is I like to break it down into different uh, days. Like I'm going to do certain tasks on certain days. And I try to always spend 15 to 20 minutes a day in the garden, either pulling weeds, putting up this fancy shade cloth. It really didn't take me that long to put it up. And I've had to readjust it a couple of times, but you're gonna be watering. You might have to go buy some more black cow manure. You might have to go look at seeds, and decide what you're going to plant when you pull all this stuff out the garden. There's always something to do. You might have to put down more mulch. You might want to change your trellis, build a trellis, do all kinds of different things. So I try to break it down into 15, 20-minute increments where I can just come out once a day or a couple times a day, but even break the 15-minute or 20 minutes up, say, into two 10-minute little, breaks that I take during the day and come out here. So you need to have some kind of system where you plan your time. So the other thing to look forward to is when you're changing all this crop out for the next crop, that typically takes a lot longer. So you might have to spend several hours on a Saturday to pull all this out. Whenever this popcorn's ready, it's probably going to take at least an hour, maybe 2 hours to pull out the popcorn, cut all the stalks off at the dirt level, and then amend the soil. I'll add compost, and I'll get the bed ready to plant again with my next crop. But to do that, then you had to think about what your next crop was going to be. So you have to already have your seeds for that. So you do have to do a little planning and a little forethought. So my advice, if you were just starting out today, is get you one raised bed and work with that, over this growing season. And then if you like that and you feel that you even have more time than that, then you could scale up from there. But I see a lot of people start out real big and then they get burned out or they don't have the time to keep it up and it doesn't look good. They don't get any yield out of their crops. So you got to kind of figure out what kind of time you're going to have yourself to devote to this. Next, you gotta decide when you collect all these tomatoes, what you're gonna do with them. You know, it's one thing to grow them, but what are you gonna do with them once you harvest them all? That's another thing to have in mind when you start the project out. If you grow 3 or 4 tomato plants right off the bat, they could just be loaded like these are down here. So just be prepared for the harvest. Right, next, you gotta also think about how much money are you willing to put into your new hobby. Obviously, I bought some raised beds here, and I like growing out of those. But it wasn't always the case. Before I had the raised beds, I had a bunch of, or I just had one large in-ground bed that was kind of outlined with some 2x8s. And that worked great for a while. But after a while, I just needed something else. I wanted to do something different. So the raised beds allow me to get more crops and a better yield on each crop because I'm controlling the soil that I put in the raised beds. So I also try to keep it as cheap as possible. So once I got the setup done, then pretty much the only thing I'm buying is things like seeds or some black cow manure or a little bit of fertilizer, that kind of thing. But those are, I would say, I spend less than $50 a year on that kind of stuff. So think about the amount of money that you're willing to spend as well. All right, lastly, I would say only grow things that you like to eat. So if you don't like tomatoes, don't grow tomatoes. If you're not gonna make spaghetti sauce out of it or salsa or something like that, then don't grow them. So it's as simple as that. No, you might try a few things once you have a couple of raised beds and just to see if you like it. But don't waste a bunch of space on things that you don't like and you're not going to use. So you saw all the onions that I grew. Seems like we're always going to the store to get an onion. So the last couple of years, I've been able to grow about 6 months worth of onions for us to have around the house. So that's been pretty cool. And if I was to ever want to make my garden bigger, I could, of course, oh, something just buzzed me. Anyway, then I could obviously grow more onions. But right now, this is a good size for me. So you kind of have to consider all those options. All right, well, that's it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed it and it's given you something to think about when you start your garden. And I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel, give the video a like if you did like what you saw, and join us again next time.